And a belated good morning. It's 8:38, Friday, the 22nd of December, 2023. It's the last trading day before we have Christmas holiday. Christmas is Monday. Markets will open again for electronic trading hours, or ETH, Monday evening at 1700 Central Standard Time. So we'll see where we go here. And I've made a few adjustments. I think adjusted the color on the sweeps and a few things here to make it a little more palatable. I re-watched a couple of the streams from yesterday, last evening, took some notes on things that I thought would improve it for myself. We are open. Basically, we got a gap up. And look, so far we're gap and go here. Gap rules apply, but they're not looking back. On the ES, NQ, other story. So let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens here. And we're pushing that IB high, extending that dramatically. So I guess it's a Santa rally. Everything looks okay here stream-wise, so that makes me pretty happy. Need to stop clearing my voice like that. I don't know what that is. I don't think I do that normally. Must be something to do with nerves around the microphone, I guess. Or maybe I do it normally and just don't know. Who the hell knows? So we had surprisingly 2 or 3 reports out this morning. Building permits, ECI, and new housing starts will be at 9. Those were at 7:30, and housing starts will be at 9. Actually got some reaction. If I can wind it back here, this was the report at 7:30. So we got a pop, pull back, and it's been straight up ever since. And here we go off the open. Higher up we go. So euphoria. Irrational exuberance, to quote Alan Greenspan. Interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah. So we are basically trending up here. This is I think I've got this figured out too. This is I noticed last night that when I just had the crosshairs on, I couldn't see the up-down arrow, so I would be talking about a column and couldn't see it. Now I hope that has been remedied here. There's the full session profile, current session profile, and the chart volume profile. In other words, what data you can see is displayed on the chart is graphed here or displayed here in the volume profile. Well, 6 to 16. We got a 10-point swing this morning. No indication that anybody's interested in closing the gap. Again, gap and go. Go figure. And I was expecting, actually, a little bit of responsive selling for profit taking here on this overnight, or this is yesterday, but they're just continuing on. This is the RTH chart as opposed to the ETH chart here. So the subtle, and it's the previous RTH high way down here. And the EV overnight point of control jumped up. That should have a value against it. We've already traded over it, so who the hell cares, I guess. But that stat's already been met, and here we go for higher ground. Crazy. I always say this, but I would be kind of surprised if I would take a trade today. I don't, this looks like FOMO country, and we're only 290,000 contracts all of last night and through the open this morning. So this is going to be a major light day. And in that situation, volatility is heightened, can be dangerous. It'll not only swing radically, but levels won't hold as normal. They'll slop through them, a lot more slop and price movement, much more like the NQ, which incidentally, the blue thing here is the correlation market. That is representing the NQ. We've got the mid or half back and VWAP, and the current session VPOC, which is right here. This is the full session VPOC over here. And if I'd have just been awake at the switch instead of asleep, I guess I should have just thrown on a long and sat back. Be up 7-8 handles by now, and that's a good way to end the month. Well, no, there'll be a little trading next week, I guess. From, say, Tuesday's got to be pretty crappy, but Wednesday, Thursday, maybe Friday. Well, now this is kind of weird. I don't see the YouTube control panel. That normally tells me if I have a good signal, blah, blah, blah. Shows we're live for 8 minutes. We're pushing 35,000, 36,000 kbps. CPU's only 0.4%, so that's pretty wonderful. And 60 frames per minute. I am only pushing this stream at 1440p. 4K doesn't seem to work right here. My monitors are the two trading monitors, lower two on the 4-rack frame are 32-inch 4K. So hopefully the quality will be good and the audio will be good. And I'm a little disappointed as to why I don't see the live control panel. Always something. Boy, they just keep going. We're nearing the IB30 range. Got some serious liquidity parked out up here at the 26, well, 24 through 26, and this liquidity at 26 has been sitting out here for a long time. Came on the market even ahead of that report around 7 o'clock. So that will obviously be wow. What to say? Nothing, I guess. If everybody else is working. See if everything else is working. Yeah, there's a naked volume point of control up here, which I don't have marked on the book map. That's a bad no for me right here at 23, 48.23 from a long time ago, from the looks of it, from that big drop when the bottom fell out last day before yesterday. So they may get up and touch that, but yeah, I think everything's, I'm just not with it today. This has obviously been a gap and go, and ain't just about get on any damn place. There was a little pullback here, which was an opportunity. The idea with these is a little bit of a kind of rotation to get on. So this would have been a test at the mid VWAP, blah, 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 everybody, and then up she goes. And when POC migrated up, that was obviously a good sign to get going. And that was now looking at 10 points. Put this level in here like we're supposed to. Naked volume point of control. This, I'm capturing the bookmap window so these pop-ups are not being displayed. But I figure everybody knows what the hell we're doing. So, I just put this in. it's kind of redundant. Wow. I'm too cautious, I believe, here. I should have spotted this. We've got consistent VPOC migration up. Had a little pullback here to price check aisle 3 at this liquidity, and on this shift was the perfect VPOC migration long, and right now looking at looking at 10 points with zero heat. So that's pretty stupid, but this is the point where retail starts to get FOMO. We do have a naked volume point of control up here and a high volume node from the micro composite. And I'll be right back. All right. Wish I could get a smooth transition off those audios. I got to try to figure that out. We'd have another VPOC migration higher. This could lend itself pretty easily to a price check at L3, which I will. So we put in the migration. Now, price check at L3 would be when we come back down and test this price. Is it still too low? Up we go. That's a Tom B at the Traders Lab concept. Works very, very frequently. And I'm hoping I'm pretty disappointed that I didn't just get my head out. I have to start earlier, get my other distractions out of the way, and then just focus exactly and totally on this trading. Look at this goofy little maneuver here at 9 o'clock. Okay, that was a number. The housing starts. So that might have some impact on this rally that we're having and provide the motivation to get down to VWAP mid and price check at L3. And there's a 6-point pullback on that. And here we are at the mid, half back, whatever you want to call it. Are they going to get through this low volume node, which is sitting here? Funny, there's a high volume node in the micro composite just here. The retail bounce off mid. Too much junk going on at both sides of my world here. Okay. Yeah, I sent the damn thing to myself, I think. Yeah. Stupid crap. Well, there we go. So they were a VWAP mid test and straight back up to the VPOC. Didn't quite get down to this price check at aisle 3, but this low volume node very definitely shut off the interest, I would suggest. But now here again, I guess maybe it was the other way around. Is it too high? Too high, too low. What is it? I don't know. What is it? Wow, that's just irritating. Now, I gotta change the hotkeys around there. If I'm not careful when I'm on IRT and I screen switch back to bookmap, it moves back one notch on the IRT chart, which stops the automatic updating. I mean, just something to be aware of and remember. Certainly not a deal breaker. Interesting here that we're just, boy, that was talk about a price check. Wow. Price check at the big aisle. Whether that's really what we got or not. Be nice to have I've had my head out of my butt and gotten on this long. But now the IB30 has not been, IB30 has not been taken. The IB high is here. IB low is here. Prices within them. We come over here, we can see the IB high, IB low. And we're just close. Just close. One would sort of expect that IB30 would be taken by the high. The IB30 stat is a version of the original IB stat, which the IB high and low are the high and low of the first 1 hour of trade. The IB stat is about 98% that one or the other, high or low, will be taken out by the regular trading session price after that, after they've been set, which is at 9:30. Now there's a new version of that in the Trader Lab from a Trader Lab guy that's noticed or done some stats that the IB30 is also got a very high probability of being taken out or extended in the second 30 minutes. So in other words, this is the high. Let's just look at that side. This is the IB high for the first 30 minutes. Now there's the IB30 stat, which says that either the high or the low will be extended in the second 30 minutes. And then the regular IB stat sets. So that's that. Little migration down there. I'm still not seeing the. Doesn't look to me like I'm seeing the chart updating properly. This is see this red and green flashing around over here is current price, but where's the wick? What's going on with this Renko? I don't know. That's the problem. I gotta make sure that stops happening. Somehow on the screen shift keys I've selected, it's removing the auto update on these charts. Now, what happens if I go over here? That seems to be, now the full session VPOC has traded up to and aligned with current session VPOC. In other words, they both got the same amount of volume. They've now come together at that price. And I'm not gonna put all these little steps in here. I guess I better put this one since they're both together. And again, I'm recording or capturing only the window itself, not the pop-up stuff. So I figure that's kind of an annoyance. Every once in a while, I'll make that visible, but it's pretty simple and isn't really pertinent to the thinking here, I don't believe. So we're popping up now to a consolidation, and I'll be right back. All right, let's see if I can fade this down now. Oh, that was kind of okay, I guess. Maybe I'll remember to do that just manually. So here we go. Seems like I'm getting a lot of mic audio there that I didn't think I was doing. Wonder if that's picking up noise. I might have to monkey with the filters. I have a ceiling fan going here, and my office is not real big. It's probably, I don't know, 12-foot square, I guess, or something. And I got several machines in here. Now and then a wandering cat comes through singing. You never know. Yeah, so this structured trade here of the VWAP mid to VPOC is a TLAB structured trade, but in the context of such a pullback, I wasn't brave enough boy for that one. Some did, of course, and there was plenty of range. The key to these structured trades is that there is range before the first obstacle. Here there's 14 to 20, so there's a 6.6 handle range. Easily get your 3 scale off at this little bit where liquidity used to live, and then your risk neutral up to your target. In this case, however, here we are at 15 quarter and 17 quarter. So that's only 2 points. That's not enough range to justify that trade for me, because my risk neutral setup is 3 points. And I think I can show you what that means. So here is my risk. This is the multi-brackets, and this is the risk neutral setup. Both contracts have a stop at 12 ticks, which is 3 points. The first scale is off at 1 or 12, and then the second take profit is at 24. So actually, it's a idiosyncrasy of the multi-bracket tool that you can't have both stops at 12. So one is at 13. Okay. And for one contract. So when we put on 2, I have a stop loss of 12 and 13, which I adjust to be equal after the trade's on. The first take profit is 12 ticks, which means at that point, the second contract is writing for free. And the worst that I can possibly do is scratch, which I have a stream of a perfect example of that trade management yesterday. So there you have the risk neutral trade and the bracket setup. And again, the mid to VWAP, VPOC, mid to VPOC is just 3 points. You could arguably say that the first obstacle is the VWAP, because oftentimes traders will, retail guys will react to that. This will definitely be a short trading day. Got to go out just after lunch. Our daughter's got an appointment outside, and my wife and I will go out also, obviously, to take her out. And that'll be it for me for the day. As it should be. This is Christmas, right? I am curious to see how everything works out with the stream, with all these new things I figured out. The screen switching, I got to come up with some different. I was just using the logical right and left arrows on my keyboard. Not good. Seems to be throwing IRT seems to throw a fit. And I've noticed that when I'm on Bookmap and I put the mic mute, but it's not a big deal. Actually, that's kind of good because that gives me a signal that I'm on mute visually, because I don't look off to the left that often to keep track of this stream and whatnot, as I probably should. So there we go. And some algos flashing up here at that price level, the previous migrated POC. And now we're sitting right here, and we were here, and then we were here, and before we were here, and then here. So that's how that works. Obviously, with enough screen real estate or scrunched up, you can see all of these migrations as they took place by the yellow POC marker line. But when you get out and in a little bit more granularity on the chart display, those lines go away. So these give a quick visual reference to where they were. That's really all they're there for. These cloud notes column are the levels pushed by IRT. And the high time frame are manually entered by myself. So we are approaching the 9:30, which is the end of the first hour of trade, where the IB sets. So at this, so far today, there's no IB 30, which is kind of rare. I think that statistic is way over 90%, and so that's pretty strange. Rare that that has not happened, but that would be indicative indication. I guess that's a double sentence. Anyway, uh, of the type of market we're in, we've gapped up. We're only trading 432,000 contracts so far. Market's been flipping all around. And they may well just flippity floppity around here like a carp on the dock. And that's, great. People are having fun trading it. Hopefully they're making money. That first rally, which I was foolish enough not to get involved in, was great. 10 or plus points to the upside, basically no heat, right off the open. But how the hell do you know it's going to be an opening drive? I don't know that. That's one of my problems is I always kind of wait a bit, try to be less impulsive, and that might not be the right thing to do. Here we are looking at a price check, aisle 3, in my opinion. That would be coming up here to see if this is still too high. And there's the price check at aisle 3. Algos are flashing. This is a fractal high volume node. Also the developing value area. So, a whole lot of crap going on up there. We still haven't gotten up to this naked volume point of control. We still haven't taken out the Ivy high, which is going to set in a couple of seconds. So, yeah, lots of stuff can happen here this morning. Well, those tests off mid, those bounces off of mid have been so typically retail, but man, they've worked every damn time. Boom, boom, boom. definitely exploring the value area high, developing value area high, as opposed from value area high in the cloud note column, which is from yesterday's RTH session. Developing means it's in the current session, which is developing. And are they going to smack it up? I would say pretty high probability they're going to take the IB high, and once they get across that, they'll probably scoot past that naked volume point of control, high volume node, and smack into this liquidity up here. Be my guess. But, they could also take out the IB low. It happened yesterday. And then they came all the way across range in the closing death throws and took out the IB high for a neutral day. So lots of different stuff going on. Again, this is not a trade that I would be interested in taking from here. This is a breakout. And there's no range to the IB high. Yeah, up here, okay. It's only 2.5 points if you look at it. So that's not something I'm going to get involved in. The stupidity on my end was not picking up on this mid play, which seems to be repeating itself. And the IB stat has got nothing to do with time apart from when it sets. It's the IB sets at 9:30, the end of the first trading hour, and then it could be all day. That just says that sometime within the regular trading hours day, that stat will be hit. In other words, the IB high or low will be taken out. Could be at 3:14, in the afternoon. Doesn't matter. 15, 14. So yeah, they're toying with that IB high. That's for sure. And why, just to try to get some more people in this beauty. That's seems insignificant, the story with the screen switching, but I am continually glancing back and forth between Bookmap and IRT. And when IRT is frozen and I haven't noticed it, that gives me pause. Well, they didn't make it. We're back to the POC. Look at there, huh? Are they going to take it back down to mid? Yeah, that would have been a nice little deal. I would have never taken that trade short in a million years because it's too close to the number. Now we're coming down to the mid. And are they going to bounce it or are they going to, now they could close a gap. I mean, who knows? And they've also bounced this mid 3 or 4 times now. So lots of people are thinking, oh boy, it's going to bounce. And that makes me nervous. There is enough room. It's 14 to 17, just barely enough room to the POC. But technically, the mid is an obstacle. And the way that's sold down, I'm thinking it's not so great. And we still do have a couple of POC levels down here. Oops, that's actually should be there, I guess. Better. Little absorption there. There we have it. The mid V POC once again. However, that POC has choked down from this last time. Now we traded up to the price check at aisle 3 on this go round. Let's see where they go here. There we go. I got that off the plate. And yeah. Had I gotten on any one of these and been risk neutral, I'd feel a lot better about things and about myself. However, I have not. So the further into the morning we get, I am assuming that you're going to be able to hear crickets after lunch. This is Friday before Christmas. You can imagine it's going to look like a fire drill out of that trading pits. Trading desks, whatever, however you want to refer to it. Retail guys will be banging around. They used to say that on Friday, the pit guys used to always joke that the only people trading the Friday afternoons were people trying to get out of a hole. So they were all standing around. Were losers, trying to pick each other's pockets to come break even or lessen the damage. No idea. I was not a pit trader. Would have been nice, but I didn't do that ever. And what are we doing here now? I shall not diddle in the middle. The concept of that, obviously, the POC is the most traded price, or the price in this case, a volume profile with the most volume, i.e. most traded. So what's going to happen there? That's going to be the most likely for trades either direction, and just almost ensures, shouldn't say that, definitely reduces the probability of a movement in either direction. So if you get in here, you got almost exactly 50-50 that it's going to swing. And with low volume like this, swinging past my 3-point risk neutral bracket setup is, highly likely. Therefore, the old market profile adage, don't diddle in the middle. We're building a P-shaped profile, which from market profile days is indicative of short covering. A B is long liquidation. Probably more easily visualized over here. P. Don't see any B's at the moment because everything has been up. Again, with a P-shaped reverse P, because I have my volume profiles on the right instead of the left. And that's what we're talking about. And you see, diddle in the middle. So it's swung a couple of points in either direction. Same. And now we're back down to the VWAP, which quite often will have a bounce. Retail traders buy it when it's approached or hit from the above, as they sell it when approached from below. Usually. Didn't happen here, of course, but in theory, what we've been having here, if you want to look at this extremely low volume node here, is just mean reversion. Up and down, up and down, and pretty clean with the VPOC in the middle, so you had some range. But just barely. Clearly, the as hindsight always is, the opening trade long was the beauty. And I will be right back. And back we are. Yeah, so boom. There was the trade. Haven't come close to the IB. Well, close. IB low, not at all. And now we're consolidating. So this slow volume area and the top is what been referring to here with this low volume node in the upper area. And yeah, that's it. My problem with my hesitation is, okay, we've come off the mid 1, 2, 3 times for nice swings. The question always comes into mind: how many times can you drink from the well, right? Actually, more than that. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, essentially 5 times. How many times can you go back to the well? Pretty soon they're going to let a bunch of people get thinking long and then hammer them, I believe. Or I don't have any stat to back that up. Maybe it's just my propensity to want to short always. But I wish that I were sitting on a short right now off those highs at the developing value area high, but I would not short that. Even though it's an asymmetrical trade, stop and think about it. If you shorted right here, for example, and come up to test this liquidity and take a short right here, you throw a stop above it at 2 points or 1 point. How much of a risk is that compared to the reward, potential reward? So that's the change in thinking that needs to happen. Still tough, though, for me. Hindsight, of course, is so clear. So just hit the mouse. I guess I just hit that mouse. Here we come back down to our old buddy, the mid. Now we have another distribution below there and a couple of price checks or VWAP levels. VPOC levels, I'm sorry. Now the context comes into question for me. Clearly the context on the open was up. But we've been in consolidation now longer than we were in an uptrend. And market's only been open not even an hour and a half. Still quite a good possibility that they'll try to close that gap. There's no more news out. Here's mid. What are they going to do here? Bounce it again and take it up? What will we do? As you're toying with people at that developing value area low and the mid and the high volume node from the micro composite and the low volume node just below it, and yada, yada, yada. Lots of stuff happening here now. A lot of people getting nervous right here. Room. A lot of people getting nervous right there. I'm not in a trade, nor have I taken a trade yet today, which I'm not proud of. But then on the other hand, I'm not whipping and spurring or hitting into it like I'm killing snakes either. So that's, in my opinion, that's a good thing. My early days, which is such a different market, it's not even believable. Started trading in 99. Luck, huh? Just at the end of the dot-com bubble. Trading equities, but Jesus Christ, what a difference. All the trading platforms were set up like video games with flashing lights and noise, and the idea was just to get you to spin accounts and get those commissions up. Easily doing 100 round trips a day, that kind of thing. Crazy. Pretty crazy. Now what are we going to do? We're going to fall out of it and head south. Where's the end queue? It's above us, and Was heading south, but I don't know. I don't know now what they'll do. Price check down there at 11. It's only 2 points. Damn it. Too late. Breakout. One problem with this, or I guess it's my, ooh, look at there. There's a sweep to the second price check at aisle 3. I should have jumped on that and I'd be 4 ahead. Always when I second guess myself, I manage to hurt myself. However, that was not a structured trade. That was a breakout trade. And as I've said and continue to say to try to reinforce for my own mind, that's what I consider to be a FOMO. Now the IB low, got a lot of stats down here. The overnight POC, I think this is moved wrong. This should be right here. That moved in the overnight. If I'm not mistaken, I'll check on IRT. So they took out some stops down here below the mid. Will they go back up or will they turn around and hammer it down? That price check at L3 was pretty nice right there. And then to here. Got one more and then the IB stat. One more and then the IB stat. I was going to look at that. I was thinking about taking this short though here, to be honest about it. To the EV POC and the IB low. Actually, that's been taken out already at the open, which is right there. I keep getting, I'm too late. I'm considering, I actually had my fingers on the buttons here, but that's a breakout. And I'm not going to do that. Even though the IB stat is now going to be hit, and it just was. There we go. IB low, and that was certainly a winner and continues to be so. Falling out of bed big time for some reason. Falling out of bed big time. I don't like this color. I changed this. I can read them a little better, but I got to change it a little bit more. I'm not crazy about that. Still kind of fuzzy looking. So is it going to be an IB continuation or an IB failure? That's the question. Huh. Well, I am certainly disappointed in myself for not taking the short I was anticipating. But on the other side of the coin, I didn't take a breakout, which it clearly was. The only way you could consider that not to have been a breakout would be to take this little bitty, if you can call that a test somehow, or here. And I see that last night when I changed these colors, I got them pretty ridiculous. That's hurts your eyes to look at. I got to remember to change that. Over this weekend, I try to do my maintenance stuff best I can. Darn, well, that's disappointing. But it is what it is. And now we come back up to the previous VPOC from below with some liquidity. Not much, but some. Will they continue to go through that back to the mid? Will that turn them around and sell them down? I think they were just pleased that they got the IB low, and we would call this an IB failure, I guess. No way, in my opinion, to get that trade. That's just indicative of low volume and, bang, picking the bottom, picking the top. I'm certainly not one that can do that. I am certainly not one that can do that. But he's talking about news here. I'm curious to see. Is this actually happening? Wow. I had a meeting here I didn't know anything about. I think. I don't even see that I have it on my screen. Huh. I didn't think I had a meeting here. Where the hell is it? I still don't. And I'm going to miss a short, I suppose. Screw you. Oh, shoot. And here I am typing crap. And Missed that test, and down we go. How irritating. How irritating. And now IB test. Will that be an IB continuation? I'm on the verge of wanting to take that IB continuation trade south, aiming to close the gap and get down there. But, you know, so 6 to 4. What will happen here if we get below that low of the day? Late for the IB continuation trade. Irritating. Man, that's so. Timing is really everything, you know. I'm sitting here with my fingers on the keyboard, and then all of a sudden I get a pop up on another screen that I need to look at. Come back and, you know, missed my opportunity, and now it's. I'm extremely glad I didn't short it down here when I was thinking at shorting it, which would have been again a breakout. However, the test up here might be correct. I don't know. Maybe the best thing to do is just take a deep breath and be right back. Okay. So test up, test down. God darn it, I'll tell you, that is just frustrating. I'm standing here ready to look for this test and short. Now I am thinking that we've done a 1, 2, 3, and, you know, back up we go. I don't see any indication that they're remotely interested in closing that gap. However, the skew has now, the context has now started to skew south with a, there's our opening drive, consolidation, sell off, and now we're going to consolidate in this lower distribution. You could call it that. Are we going to, we've taken out the IB low. You know, are they going to want to run it across and take out the IB high for another neutral day as yesterday? Or are they going to want to look down towards this gap? have no idea. And I am not sure what I'm thinking now. Anyway, that's where it's at. And I think I've got this all figured out. So we had the liquidity lift and jump underneath. We were right at this migrated VPOC. So basically, we're back at another roll all the way back here. You see that we're at this price check at aisle 3 and the big aisle. And we have a POC up above us here with the mid and the VWAP and the whole story over again. Yeah. Yeah. So, been an hour and a half on the stream. I'm going to continue until my charming, lovely killer cook wife summons me to breakfast. And at this moment, my stomach thinks my throat's been cut because I'm hungry. And I will close the stream off at that point. I don't want to. Yesterday was kind of annoying. I had a morning stream and then an afternoon stream. Not sure which is better, whether to just let it run. And I think it's probably better to split them up. I guess. I don't know. I don't know that it matters, just from a point of view of me thinking about it. I try to go back and put the chapter links there on these streams so that, trade open, scale, all those things can navigate to them easily and quickly, especially longer streams. And here we are approaching value area low, developing value area low. And now we're looking back at the skinny part with VWAP and VPOC. Well, it's a good thing I put that organized that mute button on the keyboard last night. I've been sneezing up a storm this morning. I had to deafen myself. Well, we'll see what happens here at the IB developing value area low. I was reading something somebody sent me for that they're on an IB failure, which is only applicable in a rotational market, and that's basically what we've got here. We came through the IB, set the IB in, came down through, tested it, it's failed. It didn't continue on, and it's straightened up. See how that continues to play out, but that is the IB failure. IB continuation, of course, goes through the IB, comes back and tests it. Then had we test it here and then back down, or test it here and then back down, that would be an IB continuation. Got a lot of liquidity jumping on top here. Putting the lid on the pot. And jumped out of the way just as quickly as they put it on. Didn't trade through it. Just a spoof. And now they're going to spoof it up, I guess. Pretty close to the mid. And then the VWAP. And then the real skinny part. And then higher. Maybe. Right here. We're developing value area high. Low, sorry. The skinny part. Mid and VWAP. Yeah. And the VPOC is up here at 17. I am not confident in any direction now, and it's pretty much, I guess that you could say that mid and narrow gap there is, or that low volume area is an over-under, I guess. And when we got under it, we went down, and when we held above it, we didn't. And we held above it for quite a while. This is a first test back up to it. We're just struggling to get across that developing value area low, however. And we've got, mid is just up here, 3 ticks away. And markets is at POC at 17.5, I guess it is. Up here. 17.25 maybe. I guess 17.25. Squeeze this in a little bit. There we go. Well, there we got the mid, and we're into that skinny part. Now, is it going to continue across that and up? That's the next question. I could take a long here, looking for that higher ground off the mid VWAP to VPOC. That is enough scale. That's 4 handles. What's the NQ doing? Yeah, it's looking all right. Not much volume here, though. And we've got that liquidity jumping on at 15 that just jumped back off again. That's pretty weird. Typically, retail will sell VWAP down when it approaches from below. They would have done that, and they also usually do that on the mid, which they did not. We did trade back across that low volume area. So is this just a pullback on, taking profit on those shorts? Or are they going to try to get it up to the POC and higher? That's the question. And I can tell you one thing, I'm not confident enough about that price action to put the account at risk. I'm going to watch this price action and be content with it's Friday, and I'm heading into the Christmas holiday. And from the smell of things, breakfast is going to be great and soon. Yeah, it just the IB failure was a good trade. If somebody got it right on the money, that was 6 points, almost 10 points. But there we have that. There we have the typical retail trader VWAP short from when it's approached from below, and that's just what they did. Now, are they going to be able to get it back off the developing value area low? There's also a concept that we entered value and we're being rejected back out of it again. So that says that the market is looking for lower ground, looking for lower value. Got this big line of stuff over here. Micro composite here. We've got to get below this to get lower ground, I guess, and below this developing value area low. I wonder if this would be a good opportunity for a short. Developing value area low. It's hugging right close to it. I've got to get down to that overnight VPOC again and that low life to get my scale. It's in the open, which is the IB low. So it's probably not that high a probability. There was this liquidity and a lot of consolidation. Back here again. We fall under here, we could look at this IB low in the open, but that could be just me wishful thinking about the short. No structured trade here, really. There's nothing that I know of off developing value area low, except if we've tested into value and can't get back into it, then, I guess conservatively you could say that that's a sign that it's being rejected out of value and lower. And we still have the damn gap, but generally speaking, if the gap hasn't filled by early on, which has been 2 hours of market time now. Generally speaking, in the old market profile days, the consideration was that gap rules, it's going to continue in the direction of the gap. So is that going to happen? And we come back up to the mid. So I'm pretty darn glad I didn't short that developing value area low. Would be now looking at the stop at the mid and the VWAP and the POC above. So, and I got to get this Boomer wants to short concept out of my head. I will shut the stream off, or at least on be right back at the bottom of the hour. Anytime there's a ledge like this, I always spot them, and then I never seem to be conscious of what the hell happens to them when we get back down there again. And I've read different things that ledge is a real line in the sand for support, and they don't often break. I've also heard that's, clearly that's not a well auctioned area. They auction the hell out of things right up to here, and then nobody's interested down here. So why? Too low. Yes. Too high, too low. As Tom would say. T-Lab Tom. Okay. I will be right back. Well, here we are again. So we had a VPOC migration down here, back to an old spot, or pretty damn close to an original. We're going to test up a couple of times. We're getting closer and closer to the IB low, and the concept of closing that gap. What I'm going to do, I believe, is not partake. Consider this is Christmas, and my Christmas has started. So happy holidays. And I'm going to pull the stream off now. And there we go. Any trade I would take at this moment would be a breakout. And very high possibility that we're going to hit this IB low and bounce. So I will not be able to stream later around the close as I did yesterday, because we're going to be outside. Our daughter has something to do at 1:30, and we will take her there. So this will be the close of the stream for this Christmas break. I'll put my IRT levels up Monday night when the ETH session opens, and I will have scrubbed the RTH holiday for Christmas Day. And I think that that is going to be it for me. So Merry Christmas to me and anybody else that might be listening here.